It was Christmas Eve in Chicago, the kind of bitter cold that seeped through windows and made the city lights blur against frosted glass. I was Sarah Mitchell, 34, supposedly scraping by as a freelance marketing consultant while raising my 7-year-old son Ethan alone. That's what my family believed.
Anyway,
The truth was far different, but I had buried it deep for years. That night, everything I had hidden came crashing into the open in the most unexpected way. The evening had started with the usual tension humming beneath the surface. My sister Lauren's annual holiday party was the event she used to remind everyone of her perfect life. Lauren was 30, 4 years younger than me, and in our parents' eyes, she had always been the shining star. While I had worked 2 jobs through college, paid my own way with loans and late-night shifts, Lauren received full tuition, a sleek new car at graduation, and help with the down payment on her gleaming downtown condo overlooking the river. Our parents, Carol and David Mitchell, doted on her every achievement, no matter how small. My own promotions and scholarships were acknowledged with a polite nod at best. Lauren's husband Ryan fit right into that world, a sharp investment banker in custom-tailored suits who treated everyone below his tax bracket with thinly veiled disdain. His charm was surface level, the kind that never warmed his eyes. I had seen him glance at me with quiet contempt more than once, as if my modest appearance offended him. But money talked louder than anything in Lauren's circle, and Ryan had plenty of it. Growing up, the comparisons never stopped. "Why can't you be more like Lauren?" Mom would ask when I brought home report cards that weren't perfect. Dad beamed when showing off Lauren's latest social media posts to his golf buddies, while my accomplishments gathered dust. Lauren had married Ryan 3 years earlier in a lavish ceremony, and their life seemed flawless from the outside. Designer vacations, luxury cars, endless brunches posted online. I had learned the hard way about Lauren's pattern of manipulation. She would call in tears over some fabricated crisis, a medical bill that was really cosmetic work, car repairs that funded shopping sprees, and I would always help. Thousands here, more there. The worst was 3 years back when she begged for $11,000 to save her luxury SUV from repossession right before Christmas. It's the holidays,
Sarah.
I can't disappoint Mom and Dad. I drained my emergency fund, money earmarked for Ethan's future, and she swore repayment with interest. I am still waiting. Every reminder brought gaslighting. "We never set a deadline," or "I already paid some back. Don't you remember?" Or the classic, "After all we've done for you and Ethan, you're really going to harass me?" Our parents enabled it. Lauren is just stressed. Be the bigger sister. Dad shut down any complaint. Family doesn't keep score. By last December, I was supposedly barely making rent in a small 2-bedroom walk-up on the north side. In reality, I had built something extraordinary in secret. 5 years ago, I launched Mitchell Digital Solutions, an online platform selling customizable marketing software and templates to businesses worldwide. It exploded. By Christmas, the company was worth over $2.2 million, with clients in Europe and Asia. I was a silent partner in 3 popular Chicago cafes, generating steady income, and I held patents on AI-driven ad optimization tools licensed by major firms. The secrecy began as protection. I didn't want my success dismissed as luck or family help, the way Lauren's was praised. Later, it became armor. If they didn't know about my wealth, they couldn't demand it. I drove an older sedan to family events, kept my Tesla hidden, and maintained the modest apartment for their rare visits. The real home, a sleek high-rise condo downtown, stayed off-limits. That Christmas Eve, Ethan and I arrived at Lauren's party carrying a homemade apple pie and simple gifts. I had dressed us both modestly, Ethan in sale rack button-down and slacks, me in a plain black dress from past gatherings. Lauren greeted us with air kisses, her red gown screaming designer expense. "Sarah, you're late as usual," she said loudly. She barely glanced at the pie before setting it aside. Ethan tugged her sleeve, offering a handmade card. "Aunt Lauren, I drew this for you." She waved it off. "That's sweet. Put it over there and don't touch the ornaments." The condo glittered with professional decor costing thousands, catered appetizers on silver trays. A bartender shaking cocktails. Mom and Dad arrived soon after, gushing over Lauren's setup while giving me quick hugs. Mom showed off expensive earrings for Lauren. Dad nodded vaguely my way. I lingered in the background, chatting with kind Aunt Clara and Cousin Ben, the only ones who ever asked how I really was. Around 7:30, Ethan pulled my sleeve. "Mom, I'm really hungry." The appetizers circulated, but none reached us. I led him toward the kitchen, but Lauren blocked us. Champagne in hand, her voice carried. "Where are you two going?" Conversations quieted. "Ethan's hungry," I explained. "Just getting him a plate." Lauren's smile tightened. "Dinner starts at 9. This is drinks and dessert only." The invitation made that clear. I felt heat rise in my cheeks. "It didn't specify." "Everyone else understood," she replied coolly. "But I guess responsible planning isn't your forte. Just like handling money." She turned to the room. "Did you know my sister still owes me over $14,000? She keeps coming to me for help with her bad decisions." The lie landed like a slap. I had never borrowed from her, it was always the opposite. "That's not true," I said, voice faltering under the stairs. Lauren sipped her drink. "Don't make a scene."
Sarah.
"We invite you out of pity, but your constant handouts are exhausting." Ethan trembled against me. Mom shifted uncomfortably, but stayed silent. Dad focused on his glass. I grabbed Ethan's coat. "We're leaving," Lauren called after us. "Running away again?" Typical. Outside, the cold wind stung. Ethan asked in the car, "Mom, why was Aunt Lauren so mean?" "She said we owe her money." I swallowed hard. Some people say things that aren't true when they're unhappy inside. "It has nothing to do with you, buddy." Silence filled the drive to our modest apartment, the decoy one. Back home, I made Ethan a sandwich. He asked hopefully, "Can we order pizza?" Something inside me cracked. The humiliation. The lies. 5 years of secrecy. It all converged. "You know what? Yes." But instead of calling the restaurant, I knelt beside him. "Remember the emergency number?"
He nodded.
911. But only for real emergencies. Tonight feels like one. I want you to call and ask for pepperoni pizza with extra cheese. Tell them you're at Aunt Lauren's address. His eyes widened. "But we're not there. It's a secret mission to fix things. When they ask your name, say Ethan Mitchell, and that mom will explain." He made the call. Voice small but steady. I listened, heart pounding, knowing police protocol required response to a child's welfare call. They would arrive at Lauren's party. And the anonymous package I sent weeks earlier, evidence of bank transfers, threatening texts, emails, plus proof of siphoning $180,000 from our parents' retirement and identity issues, would meet them at the door. My phone rang at 8:20 p.m. MS. "Mitchell. This is Officer Patel with Chicago PD. We received a 911 call from your son requesting pizza at an address on East Erie Street. Is everything okay?"
My voice stayed calm.
"Yes, officer. Ethan's with me now at home. I'm sorry about the call. We had a difficult evening at my sister's gathering." He was upset and hungry. The officer paused. We responded to the location. "There are some concerning observations here matching an ongoing financial investigation. Can you come to the station tomorrow?" I agreed, feeling the first rush of adrenaline. In the background, I heard raised voices, Lauren's shrill protests cutting through. After hanging up, I read Ethan his favorite story until he drifted off, his face peaceful despite the chaos. I sat watching him, knowing the dominoes were falling. The secrecy that protected me had also trapped me. No more. Christmas morning, I left Ethan with a trusted neighbor and drove to the station. Detective Laura Chun waited in a small room. "Thank you for coming in on Christmas." "Sarah." She slid a folder across the table. "Last night, responding to your son's call, officers noticed documents and devices in plain view at your sister's residence. It aligned with tips we've received about fraud." She described the investigation. Lauren and Ryan suspected of systematic family-targeted scams, loans never repaid, forged documents, unauthorized account access. Evidence suggested over $130,000 taken from me, though I had never tracked it fully, plus nearly $220,000 drained from our parents over 3 years. Your sister claimed during questioning that you owed her money, but the records tell a different story. I expressed genuine shock at the scale, playing the trusting sister while detailing years of manipulation without revealing my countermeasures yet. Chun continued, "There's more. We found a notebook and digital files showing deliberate efforts to damage your reputation, sabotaging a major client lead last year, spreading doubts about your parenting to Ethan's school, even attempts to access medical records." The betrayal cut deeper than money. Lauren hadn't just taken, she had actively tried to keep me down. By the interview's end, Lauren and Ryan were in custody facing fraud, identity theft, and elder financial abuse charges. Bail was set high. I met my parents later that day at Aunt Clara's. Mom looked shattered, hair unkempt, eyes swollen. Dad sat defeated. "How did we miss this?" Mom whispered repeatedly. "Our retirement. It's nearly gone." I held their hands. "We'll get through it together." Privately, I had already arranged through advisors to quietly replenish their losses via anonymous channels, ensuring they wouldn't struggle. Over the following days, more emerged. Ryan's firm had run a Ponzi-like scheme defrauding clients of millions, built on the same lies that sustained their lifestyle. Their condo, cars, and vacations were funded by theft. I felt no immediate triumph, only a heavy sadness for the family illusion now shattered. As New Year's approached, Lauren and Ryan posted bail, but were barred from leaving the state. I knew they would try attending the big gala at the Drake Hotel to save face. Instead of public confrontation, I chose quiet strength. In my true downtown condo, I hosted a small gathering with Aunt Clara,
Cousin Ben,
and trusted friends who knew the real me. Ethan proudly showed off his room filled with books and toys I had always provided in private. At midnight, a text from Detective Chun, Lauren and Ryan arrested again at the gala. Attempted to flee using fake documents and tickets abroad. No bail now. Closure was beginning. The legal process unfolded slowly through winter. Trials revealed the full extent: forged signatures, manipulated transfers, threats to isolate me further. Sentencing brought substantial prison terms, years for both Lauren and Ryan. My parents sold their suburban home to contribute restitution, unaware I had arranged its repurchase through intermediaries to return quietly once resolved. Spring brought healing. I took Ethan to a long-promised trip exploring the Great Lakes. No longer hiding joy. Business expanded with a new office in the Loop, proudly displaying my company's name. One afternoon in the park, Ethan licked his ice cream and asked, "Mom, was calling for pizza bad?" Everything changed after. I hugged him close. "You helped stop something hurting our family for years." It was like a brave mission. He pondered. "So now we don't pretend anymore?"
Exactly.
"We're free to be ourselves." My father called weeks later, voice thick with regret. "Sarah, Your mom and I have been in counseling. We failed you, favoring Lauren, ignoring your struggles, enabling her. Tears came as he apologized for a lifetime of blindness. We want to know the real you, if you'll let us. I invited them over 2 weeks later. Their eyes widened entering my actual home, the skyline views, modern furnishings, awards on walls. All this time, Mom breathed. We thought you were barely getting by. It protected me, I admitted. From demands, from Lauren's sabotage. Dad examined framed patents and articles. You built this alone? Pride filled his voice, a sound I had waited decades to hear. Mom studied family photos of genuine moments with Ethan. We missed so much. We shared a home-cooked dinner. Ethan chatted freely. Dad cleared his throat. We sold the house to repay victims. I nodded, holding the secret that it would return to them. If you need support transitioning, I'm here. That's what real family means. Later, on the balcony under city lights, news confirmed appeals denied. Sentences stood. I felt quiet closure, not explosive revenge. The masks had fallen, truth, though painful, allowed healing. Summer decisions followed. Expanding to the West Coast felt right, not escape, but growth. Ethan was excited about new adventures. Family promised visits. On our last Chicago night, we ordered pepperoni pizza, eating on the floor amid boxes. Mom, Ethan said, are we rich? I smiled. We've been secure. Now we don't hide it. I like not pretending. It was hard keeping secrets. Me too, I whispered, pulling him close. A courier arrived the next morning with documents from the DA's office. Restitution included $240,000 awarded to me, a fraction reclaimed, but meaningful. Detective Chen's note read, "Justice takes many forms. Safe travels and thank you for your courage." The acknowledgement mattered more than funds I didn't need. As the plane lifted toward our new chapter, Ethan watched Chicago shrink below. I squeezed his hand. Ready. His smile lit the cabin. Ready, Mom. Sun glinted off downtown towers like gold, a symbolic goodbye to hidden years and promise of authenticity ahead. Yet the story's echoes lingered. Family therapy continued. Parents rebuilt slowly, learning boundaries. Aunt Clara and Ben became closer pillars. Business thrived in a new city, but success felt lighter without secrecy's weight. One evening months later, Ethan asked about Lauren. Will she ever understand? I considered carefully. Some people struggle with their own unhappiness and hurt others. We focus on our kindness and growth. He nodded, satisfied with childhood wisdom. Looking back, that innocent 911 call, born of hunger and a mother's breaking point, did more than expose crimes. It dismantled facades, forced accountability, and allowed genuine connections to emerge. The central question remains, how much do we sacrifice for family loyalty before protecting ourselves and our children becomes the truest act of love? In the end, shining authentically proved the most powerful response to betrayal. Settling into the new Pacific Northwest life brought fresh rhythms, rainy mornings, mountain views, a community less entangled in old judgments. Ethan thrived in school, making friends without performance pressure. I expanded the company thoughtfully, hiring locally and mentoring young entrepreneurs, paying forward the independence I had fiercely guarded. Parents visited often, their relationship with me evolving into mutual respect. Dad helped with small projects around the house. Mom cooked family recipes, sharing stories without comparisons. The favoritism wounds healed gradually through honest conversations and therapy they now embraced. News of Lauren and Ryan faded into legal archives. Their empire crumbled completely, assets seized. Social circle dissolved. Occasionally, I wondered about their regrets in confinement, but that chapter closed without my needing final confrontation. Justice through the system brought resolution. Personal growth brought peace. One autumn afternoon, hiking with Ethan, he paused at a viewpoint. "Mom, remember the pizza call? It started everything good." I smiled, wind tousling his hair. It did. Secrets can protect, but also isolate. When we let truth out, even messy, we find real freedom. He grinned. Like superheroes revealing their powers. Something like that. Back home, I stood on the deck watching sunset paint the sky. The phone buzzed, a text from Aunt Clara. "Proud of the woman you've become. No more hiding." I replied with gratitude. The central message lingered. Family bonds are tested not by blind loyalty, but by confronting manipulation with courage and integrity. Hiding success out of fear only prolonged pain. Revealing it on my terms empowered healing. As leaves turned gold, mirroring that final Chicago sunrise, I felt ready. Ready to live openly. To raise Ethan without facades. To embrace the complicated beauty of rebuilt relationships. My name is Sarah Mitchell, and this is how one child's simple plea for pizza on a cold Christmas Eve unraveled years of deceit, freed us from shadows, and taught that true revenge lies in refusing to dim your light any longer.